of use of force, I was calling to let them know.
Why would you involve a sergeant in a call that might involve the use of force?
Sergeants are usually always notified for use of force.
And so did you in fact call Sergeant Kluger?
I did.
You ever in your career before called a sergeant for something like this?
Multiple, for an incident like this?
Right.
To be exact, no.
David Lundgren, she goes on in cross-examination to be asked about, well, do you really know? Are you trained in use of force? Is that what you're sure you saw in that video? And how did you think the defense maybe turned that around or tried to on cross-examination?
I think they tried to. I don't think it was effective, and not for any criticisms towards Mr. Nelson. It's just, when you have a 911 dispatcher who is an ally for the police and who's clearly testifying in a manner where she was not comfortable questioning the actions of a police officer, and you could tell that on her face as she was testifying, and in her body language and in the way she answered the questions. But she felt that the behavior was so out of bounds that she still called the sergeant to say, hey, something might be a little bit off here. So I understand why the defense did it. I just don't think it was effective.
Yeah, let's listen to the exact call that she did make to the sergeant that night.
I didn't know. You can call me a snitch if you want to, but we have the cameras up for 320's call. Oh, did they already put him in the? They must have already started moving him. And 320 over at Cup Foods.
Okay.
I don't know if they had used force or not. They got something out of the back of the squad, and all of them sat on this man. So I don't know if they needed you or not, but they haven't said anything to me yet.
Yeah, they haven't said anything. This is just a takedown, which doesn't count, but
Okay.
I'll find out.
No problem. We don't get to ever see it, so when we see it, we're just like, well, that looks a little different. Thank you. Bye.
Call me a snitch if you want to, Nima Rahmani, but she made that call, and that had to be powerful for the jury, someone not even at the scene, so concerned that night.
Very powerful, Shanley. And right before this, she testified that this was lasting so long that she actually had to ask her colleagues whether the video was
Sorry, Nima, but the judge just sat down on the bench inside the courtroom, so let's
And
listen
now
in.
we're in more technical details than I probably have ever in my life, but essentially, the broadcast was not interrupted. And what was interrupted was there's a separate live feed that goes up to the families who are in the building and over to the media center. And that is run by a server that was knocked out by a power surge. And there's no backup. Local media have volunteered to set up a backup server for that purpose, so that if we lose the separate live feed that's going over to the media center and upstairs, that will not knock things out. It'll fail over to the other server. So that apparently knocked out only a small part of the feed. Most of the public still had their feed available, and of course we still had media people present in the courtroom, as well as a member of the Floyd family. So with that bit of information, we have a motion this morning. Mr. Frank, did you want to address it? Essentially, this is our Celery JP. And if you can note your appearance to start off with, and then we summarize basically the motion, if you would.
Good morning, Your Honor. The state has filed a motion requesting that individual witnesses who were minors at the time of the incident be exempt from audio and video recording in this matter. Obviously, there are some privacy concerns with respect to individuals who were children at the time. Many of those individuals have expressed their discomfort with being covered publicly in this court. I understand the court's order previously generated with respect to audio video stated that minors who would testify would be exempt from the video portion of the coverage unless there was consent prior, though their testimony would still be covered by audio. The discomfort still remains, obviously, for many of our witnesses.